let's talk about that push a little bit. Now, how do you balance pushing players, kids to be their best while still keeping it fun and positive? That aspect of wanting to really, really push, but still make it fun.
Yeah. It's super hard. I think that some people put hand in hand, right? Like I like keeping score for things, right? Like not everybody finds that fun. It's a little bit of a niche group of people that find it very fun to push yourself, to keep track of scores all the time, to yeah, to be on an edge and that's elite football, right? Or like elite sports. It doesn't always the goal doesn't always have to be elite sports, and I think that that's really really hard for parents and
Hmm.
easy for me to say because my kids aren't of that age yet. But as long as we are true with ourselves that like yes, our investment, our financial investment, our time investment is going into our child's development through sports. Like there might not be any professional sports in their future. There might not even be college sports. Who knows even if they're going to make varsity. But there is things that they are getting and attaining through playing. And all of that time and all that money is investing into that human development that that will serve them for the rest of their life. Not only are they staying fit, making friends, things like that, but they are also learning what it means to get knocked down, literally and figuratively, knocked down multiple times a day and to figure out a way to get back up and try again. And I think that that like repetitive habit is worth that investment.
You touched on it already, but how have you found yourself being able to so far kind of walk that line for supportive and overbearing? And you mentioned your dad was really pushed you, but obviously for you it turned out positively. Like what is what where how do you walk that line, and kind of what is your developing philosophy about that?
Yeah, I think that it's a huge question. I think I think what we can do as parents and even coaches sometimes because we all know so many coaches drive this some crazy because sometimes you want it so bad for this player, right? So bad, and you can want it maybe more than they want it, right? And I think that that's where you get into trouble. Of course, we say like you could bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And I think that that's the same with youth sports, right? Like let's just give the environment, give the tools, drive the car. And at the end of the day, they truly have to do it themselves. And I think that you'll know that probably, I don't know, by like age like 10 to 12, if they are the kind of person and character that's doing it themselves. And quite frankly, if they're not doing it themselves by that point, like, I don't know, puberty, not 12, 13, if they're not having that self motivation, I think it's probably wise to search for something else, because if they're not like, if they're not aspiring for it themselves, that is it's gonna fade. It's gonna fade fast, right? So might as well save yourself some sanity. Um, and so I think that there is something out there for everybody to be super passionate about, in even probably a sport, right? And so if it's not like really getting them going, I don't know. I think at a certain point you have to make a pivot and say like, let's find something that is really like getting you going. Because I really truly feel that human beings have like this insatiable like desire to improve in something and to be like autonomous in something, right? And like
Yeah.
those two things are like basically human desires. So if it's not in soccer, it's probably in something else. So um, maybe not be too hesitant to make a change,
Yeah.
even if it's disappointing to you.
Now, we've all seen and had coaches that stoke that passion, that even if it's in you and you have the drive, that they feed that fire, they push you even further. What's one thing you've seen, one mistake you've seen that kind of unintentionally drives kids away from the game?
Hmm. Oh boy, a lot of things. Uh, I I think negative coaching. I mean, to be honest, like there's nothing wrong with calling somebody out when you feel like they are cut. They're cutting themselves short, right? Like, and that's our responsibility as coaches, I think, to get these athletes to their greatest potential, to lead them to their potential. And that line of potential, as we know, is like it's you're never gonna get there. It's like this like elusive goal. Um, and and yeah, I think that the best coaches I've had to spin it at a negative, to spin it out of a negative and into a positive, the best coaches that I've had have been masters in driving me for, like, to get to that potential faster, right? And what drives people to get there faster is like support and encouragement sprinkled in with like, hey, I know you got some more in the tank there, or like try to change your focus to this because I see you're falling short in, or you're overstressed. Sometimes like somebody like myself, I was overstimulated. I wanted it so bad, and I was so competitive and so driven and so determined, but that was causing probably a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of nervousness that I think that my best coaches probably tried to take an edge off a little bit, right? So I think that it's definitely about knowing your athletes, but overall it's a positive approach, and it's just continuing to drive home the point of like, you're capable of such great things. We want to get you there. What are your goals? Let's have everybody on the same page about what their goals are. Um, and so yeah, we can just drive you and make you feel like the sky's the limit.